Hey everyone, it's Cindy. It's Tuesday, so that means it's time for another little episode of Tuesday's Treasure, where we take this week's episode of the Presence Driven Life podcast and just pull a little nugget out and examine it a little deeper in real time and space. And so that's what we're going to do. This week's guest was Nick In't Hout, and Nick lives here in my home community of Redlands, California. And if you haven't listened to the episode, I encourage you to do that. He just wears a lot of hats, but he has such a heart for people, such a heart for the community, such a heart for unity within the church. And I know you will appreciate all the things he had to say. But one thing that really jumped out at me was a quote he mentioned. It was he was quoting a friend of his, and the quote was, "The prize of surrender is revelation." And Nick went on to say, "As I surrender, intimacy grows." And of course, that's our heart's desire, right? To have a deeper level of intimacy with Jesus, and of course, greater revelation. But I just love that the prize of surrender is revelation. I had a little picture. I was at a worship gathering this weekend, and I had a little picture that the Lord gave me that I really didn't immediately correlate to that quote at all. But as I was praying this morning and pressing into what I should share, I felt like He made that connection for me. And so that's what I want to share with you today, is just that picture and what I think the Lord might be saying to us. I was at, like I said, a little worship gathering. It was a home gathering, and it wasn't a ton of us, maybe 10, 12 of us gathered, and we just were there to worship Jesus, no other reason. And at some point in the evening, I had a picture in my mind's eye, and the eyes of my understanding, whatever lingo you're most familiar with. But anyway, it was a picture with an invitation. I knew it was an invitation, as the invitation is always there to come up higher. But what I saw was a stairway, and it was like literally a stairway to heaven. It was going up into the clouds, and the stairway itself was actually made of clouds. And that was actually kind of an intimidating part of it, because you don't think of clouds being substantive, that they're going to hold you. But it's funny because there were like also these guardrails, these handrails on the side. And so I approached it, and I just latched onto those handrails for dear life. And I tentatively took the first step. And as I did, it's like, oh, okay, it held me. And so I just was holding onto the rails and took another step and another step. And as I did, a funny thing happened. The rails began to disintegrate, and I had no choice but to let go. So I kind of stood there for a minute, and I felt really afraid and intimidated, because I felt really wobbly without that support, without that just kind of a little bit of a crutch to hold on to. But I just felt the invitation, the beckoning to continue to come. So I took another tentative step onto the clouds without completely letting go at this point, not holding on. And then I took another tentative step. And then I did something funny. It's like I just threw my hands in the air, like in a sign of both worship and surrender. And when I did that, it's like I started going up faster and faster. And then I wasn't just going up the stairs. I was leaping, I was dancing, I was spinning. I felt so much joy. I felt so free, so light. And then it transitioned again. And as I'm in this place of just joy and delight, I'm not holding on to anything. I'm not holding on to fear. I'm not holding on to any crutches or anything like that. I'm just coming up higher. I'm just heeding the invitation. And then all of a sudden, the stairway turned into more of an escalator, to where then it wasn't my movement. It wasn't my motion that was taking me higher. It was His. I was being propelled into another dimension, not of my own effort at all. And that's where it ended. It's not like I got somewhere and I had some big revelation where I was, but that was the revelation. The journey itself was the revelation. That sometimes when God is calling us into a deeper place, a higher place, sometimes it feels scary. Sometimes we need something to hold on to. But then at a certain point, he has those things. He has us let go of those things. And then you have a choice. Are you going to keep going up without the comfort of the guardrails, or are you going to just stay stuck? And then if you do keep going up, you can surrender more. You can just actually worship in the process and let go completely. And as you let go completely, you just become more free, more light. And the journey becomes not drudgery and not fear, but joy. And then the part I really loved, and I feel like it's the part that the Lord is highlighting, is, when we let go completely, when we surrender fully, and we keep just saying, hey, I'm here for the ride, Lord, I'm here to move forward, it literally does become a ride. And then it's not our movement, it's his movement, it's his motion, it is momentum. And that's what I felt like the Lord really wanted me to share. Is I feel like there's many of you've faithfully put one foot in front of the other. You've faithfully done the scary things. You've faithfully yielded yourself to come up higher. And sometimes it's been scary. Sometimes you haven't known what you were stepping into, or if the step in front of you was going to be secure. But as you continued on the journey, you became lighter and freer. And now I feel like now is the time that there is going to be a momentum, a new momentum that is going to propel us into another dimension of revelation, propel us into another dimension of intimacy, propel us into another dimension of his kingdom. So anyway, that's what I've got for today. I hope that blesses you. I hope you have a great week. And again, if you didn't catch this week's episode, look it up on Apple, Spotify, all the things, all the podcast platforms, because I know you'll be blessed. Have a great day. Have a great week. Bye.